Good evening, everyone. I'm Christopher Brantley. Thank you so much for joining us. Adam Cellini has the night off. Topping our news tonight, school security in the spotlight following an alleged mass shooting plot from two Florida teenagers. Deputies report students at the Villages Charter Middle School in Sumter County alerted the school resource officer that two of their classmates were planning an attack. ABC 7's Kate Flexter tells us now it's sparking a nationwide conversation about school security. Kate, good evening.
Good evening, Christopher. We spoke to a few school security experts who say this is a good reminder of the role a school resource officer can play in preventing school shootings.
The Sumter County Sheriff's Office says a potential tragedy was avoided Friday at the Villages Charter Middle School after students sounded the alarm alerting their school resource officer that two of their classmates were planning a shooting.
We have done much better at resolving these issues before they become a Columbine or a Sandy Hook, and I think this was another example of it.
Executive Director for the School Safety Advocacy Council, Kurt Lavarello, says school safety is now a precise and high-tech operation, but insists no amount of technology competes with involvement in a school community.
There's a lot of great technology out there with cameras and panic buttons, but the most important thing any school can do are the people things.
Lavarello points to a study from the Safe School Initiative following Columbine that found more than 80% of students and former students who committed targeted attacks at schools talked about it before carrying it out. Tim Carney spent years with the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office overseeing the school resource officer program and says that's why it's crucial to have good relationships with students.
So I think it's important to build that trust in school culture where the kids aren't afraid to report things, either to administrator or to their SRO.
Carney says school resource officers could make all the difference in preventing acts of violence in schools across the nation.
So maybe they see a marked car out front, they see the uniformed officer on campus. It is a deterrent. Like I said, while nothing is a guarantee, and I think it gives a feeling of safety to the whole community.
The major hurdle, Lavarello says, making school safety a constant priority as state and federal funding ebbs and flows in the aftermath of tragedies.
Even when there may not be a Columbine or a Sandy Hook, we have to stay focused on the potential is always there. And it's when we become, complacent that we become very vulnerable.
As for the case in Sumter County, both students are now facing charges of conspiracy to commit murder. Christopher?
Kate, thank you so much. Now to an update on a fatal crash that happened last night in Inglewood. The Florida Highway Patrol releasing details of the accident. It happened at the intersection of Dearborn Street and Oxford Drive, shutting down the roadway for two drivers for several hours. Troopers say an Inglewood man, Thomas Stapleton, was passing through the intersection around 5 p.m. when he collided with a vehicle carrying two children. The driver of the second vehicle was transported to Sarasota Memorial Hospital, while the two children were flown by helicopter to All Children's Hospital with serious injuries. Stapleton was pronounced dead at the scene. The accident is still under investigation. A Sarasota resident has received a life-changing gift today. Villagers for the veterans at the Sarasota-based Inglewood Lodge raising the money to give a medically retired veteran from the Army an electric scooter so that he can regain more of his mobility.
Stuff that would normally trip anyone else would make me really go down. So for the most part, with this chair, I will be able to enjoy going to the beach a little bit more, going out into the outdoors. When I go camping, take it out with me and be able to get around without having to limit how far I'm going to walk.
The organization Villagers for Veterans is a nonprofit group that was started by the residents of the villages in Florida. They have raised and donated more than $140,000 over the past couple of years to provide greater mobility for veterans in need. And the Inglewood Lodge in Sarasota is working to continue that goal locally by helping provide help to veterans on the Suncoast. And it was quite an overcast day today. Let's head over to Wendy Ross for a first check on our weather. Wendy, good evening.
And Chris, we are looking at things starting to clear out now. Most of the rain has exited the state finally after being around all morning long. And finally at around 11:30, 12:30, we started to see the rains really come to an end and now begin to move off. And now they are off the state of Florida. We are looking at mostly cloudy conditions for much of our area. And all of this is going to continue to recede and move on down to the south, so we should be left with partly cloudy skies for the overnight time period. Right now it's 59 degrees, our humidity at 69%. Winds are out of the west-southwest at 7 miles per hour, but we do have a cold front that's going to be coming on in, and we're going to start to see our temperatures continuing to drop. So we'll let you know what we can expect for tonight and into the work week. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Chris?
Wendy, thank you. Florida's public universities are being swamped by college students in need of counseling. The Tampa Bay Times reporting that students are waiting up to a month for appointments, while 10 of Florida's 12 state universities fail to meet recommended staffing levels for counselors. And over the last 6 years, student counseling clients have jumped nearly 50%. This year, the state university system is asking for $14.5 million to hire 137 new staff members for counseling centers. And Florida is looking for the state's best student chef. So in order to do that, the Agricultural Commissioner has created a contest only for high school students in Florida. The Fresh Fruit from Florida Student Chef Cook-Off will require students to create an original recipe that includes one fresh fruit or vegetable grown in the state. The ultimate winner will be invited to serve with a professional chef at one of the department's future events. The goal of the program, to encourage students to prepare healthy meals. For more information on how to enter the contest, visit our website at mysuncoast.com. And switching gears back here to the Suncoast, the community has been kicking off their creativity with the Venice Craft Festival. There were ceramics, stained glass, metalworks, and more. The festival on Miami Avenue in its 10th year, always drawing a large crowd. And today was no different. The crowds coming out despite the chillier weather.
It's a beautiful day, and we have out-of-town guests, and we want to show them the beauty of Venice. And I've always scored some good stuff. I found some nice cushions for my boat, and very happy to be here. Nice deals.
The event was completely free to the public, and pets were welcome to roam the outdoor venue with their owners. And to the Arts and Crafts Festival, it continues on St. Armand Circle for the 2017 Winter Arts Festival. Over 175 artists and craftsmen displaying their original artwork. Everything from pottery, oil and watercolor paintings, ceramics, jewelry, and sculptures.
To meet the artists is really a very important part of it for us also. Get to know the stories and the stories behind the pieces. Much nicer than going into a store and buying a piece.
In its first year, the Winter Arts Festival was ranked in the top 50 out of 10,000 similar art events held around the country. Still to come here on ABC7, at airports all over the country, protesters are raising their voice over the travel ban. A number of those impacted by Friday's executive order in the hundreds of thousands. Details on that when we come back.
How long have we been married there?
For 76 years.
He was kind and generous to me before we married, and he was kind and generous to me all these years. We decided on Meals on Wheels because I was getting to the point where I couldn't do all the things that I had been able to do. We're the Spans. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Why do I run? I think life's a journey. Every step brings me closer to my goal. I run to see the world, and when you're surrounded by so much beauty, how could it not take your breath away?
Join us at Robinson Preserve Friday, March 31st at 6:30 p.m. for our 9th annual Twilight 5K and 10K race. It's one of the most beautiful scenic race courses in Florida. This race will leave you breathless.
You might feel like there's too many problems in the world, or that, you as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old can't really make a difference.
It's not always about you. It's not just one person. It's a group. It's a team.
Just that simple act is transforming someone else's life.
It's one of the best feelings in the world.
It'll just make you feel so good about yourself.
I'd do anything to convince you just to be a part of this.
At SWC Properties, we pride ourselves in providing to you the very best in customer satisfaction, and the secret's getting out. Maybe that's why so many people have chosen to list their homes with our friendly and qualified agents. After all, it only makes sense to list with a growing agency that markets in so many places. To list your home with SWC, give us a call at our office and ask for Eric Schrock.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here. Because
Why, you don't like my hair?
The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds.
No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm gonna show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch The Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
ABC 7, My Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch My Suncoast News wherever you are. On our live stream, on our newly redesigned MySuncoast.com, and a brand new ABC 7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing Sight for Life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, and dining with recipes at all the hottest Suncoast restaurants. Visit MySuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab to download the ABC 7 My Suncoast app for iOS and Android.
In opposition to President Trump's executive action on refugees and immigration, protests are raging across the country. Demonstrators rallying for travelers detained at airports all across the country and around the world. ABC's David Wright reports.
President Trump's second week in office is kicking off the same way his first did, with widespread protests. Coast to coast, demonstrators are rallying against the president's executive order temporarily banning travelers from 7 predominantly Muslim countries designated as having ties to terror. Overnight, federal judges temporarily stayed the order, making way for refugees who'd been detained at U.S. airports, allowing them to reunite with their families.
Donald Trump seems to want us to believe that immigrants are either terrorists or criminals. Look at these faces. Are they any kind of threat to America? No, they're the promise of America.
Now some refugees are telling their stories. Mohammed Hamid says he was targeted by terrorists after working with U.S. troops in Iraq.
We were on the brink to be killed.
Emotions are also running high for Azem Elias. An American citizen, he fought for years to get his daughter and grandchildren out of Syria.
I am a good citizen. I have my own business. I have my own house. But I don't have my children with me. And I have another daughter in Lebanon stuck.
Many people with valid visas are stuck in legal limbo.
It's working out very nicely. You see it at the airports. You see it all over. It's working out very nicely.
The president and his team are on defense this weekend.
That's what the president did, is to ensure that the people that we're letting into our country are coming here with peaceful purposes and not to do us harm.
But a growing number of Republican lawmakers now say the policy is flawed.
Bad news is that obviously this process and these conclusions were not vetted.
Refugees are welcome here. David Wright, ABC News, Washington.
And here in Florida, those protests are continuing. Crowds flooding the airports in Orlando, Tallahassee, Tampa, West Palm Beach, and in Miami. Protesters shouting "Ban Trump" following the president's 90-day ban on travel to the U.S.
When any human being's rights are taken away from them, it's just not American. We all need to come together and stand up for those rights.
The ban covers citizens of Iraq, Syria, Iran, Sudan, Libya, Somalia, and Yemen. There's also a 120-day suspension of the U.S. refugee program. Syrians indefinitely have been blocked from entry. The homestay service Airbnb is offering free housing to people banned from flights to the U.S. The CEO, Brian Chesky, opening his offer to anyone denied U.S. entry under President Trump's executive order, halting immigration from 7 Muslim-majority countries. No timeline yet as to when or how these accommodations will be provided, but Chesky urged travelers who need emergency housing to contact him. According to the company's website, Airbnb operates in more than 190 countries. And while Airbnb is responding to the executive order, the ride service Uber is facing backlash for its response to the president's travel ban. The transportation app tweeting Saturday while the protesters were demonstrating against the executive order at New York's JFK Airport, it had suspended surges for the area, which lowers the cost of a ride. Hashtag delete Uber began trending on Twitter after some users commented that the company's tweet was an attempt to rally against the protests. Uber responding a few hours later saying, quote, "The last tweet was not meant to be a part of the strike." We didn't have any striking here, but we do have some cloudy weather outside.
Well, we did have some cloudy weather outside, and now things are starting to clear up. It's starting to look a whole lot better. We've got another cold front that's moving on down the state, and that's going to help to reinforce some of this colder weather that we experienced today. These were our daytime highs. Once again, not something you see very often with a state full of 60s instead of 70s. And this is the way it was all across the state of Florida. They had a little bit more sunshine over the northern part of the state as the cloud cover began to move on down to the south. So the northern counties recovered more quickly. But as you can see across our area, many of our locations reporting temperatures only in the 50s today because of all the cloud cover, because of the rain. At the airport, we did see our temperature climb up to 61, 62 degrees was the official high after an overnight low of 48 degrees. And normally we're at 72 and 52, so you can see it's been a far cry from normal. And right now we're looking at 59 degrees with our dew points beginning to inch up just a little bit, as is the humidity. The winds out of the west-southwest at around 7 miles per hour right now. But the overnight lows tonight will be a little bit warmer than last night with our readings mostly in the 50s, and we are expecting to see our skies become partly cloudy as the night continues to progress. So we've had a band of clouds sitting on top of us right now. That's all going to be moving and sliding on down to the south. The rain showers have moved out of the way. We had less than 1/4 of an inch of rain recorded around our area. So the rains came. They were with us for quite some time throughout the overnight time period and throughout the morning hours, but it didn't bring a whole lot of rain to our area as far as measurable amounts. So we are looking still at some cloudy conditions taking place, but all of this is going to continue to move on down to the south, and we'll end up with partly cloudy skies for the rest of tonight. And then over the next couple of days, you'll notice that we continue to see clearing conditions. Lots of sunshine will be in the forecast, and that's going to stay with us for the next several days. So keep in mind, we've got another frontal system that's going to be moving on down the state. That's going to help to reinforce the colder air that's already sitting on top of us, but it will also bringing about plenty of sunshine. So we've got that cold air coming in from the north. High pressure is going to move on in. This frontal system moves on down the state, and that reinforces that cold air. So we will not see temperatures in the 70s tomorrow. We're only going to be getting back up into the 60s for daytime highs. The winds will pick up a little bit as well with the passage of that front. That reinforced cold air comes on through, and then we're looking at that colder than normal for this time of the year all the way through Tuesday, with Wednesday starting to finally see temperatures back up into the 70s. So if you're heading out to the beach, winds will be out of the north at 15 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet. The Gulf water temperature 63 degrees, so it's cooled as a result of the colder weather we've experienced. And tonight we're going to get down to partly cloudy skies. 55 degrees is the expected overnight low. Mostly sunny tomorrow, chilly still, 64 for the daytime high. And as you can see, we get to Wednesday, we'll see 71 degrees. Chris?
Now, sports.
Oh, say, can you see? The Pirates holding their national anthem auditions today at McKechnie Field. A couple dozen people coming out to belt their love for the country, and the Bradenton Marauders, the singing auditions in front of the Pirates employees and sharing their voices.
The Pirates are my favorite team, and I live in Bradenton, so it's just great to give back to the community and sing our national anthem.
Take a deep breath before you start, and then don't worry about what everybody else is doing, and just go for it.
The Pirates will play an 18-game home schedule at McKechnie Field this spring, beginning with a matchup against the Baltimore Orioles in February 25th. Season tickets are now on sale. And at the Australian Open today, even for the legendary Roger Federer, this was a nearly unbelievable Roger Federer of Switzerland beat Rafael Nadal of Spain in the Australian Open final. For Federer and Nadal last meeting in the men's final in Melbourne in 2009, when Nadal won in 5 sets after a grueling match. This is the 12th time Federer and Nadal have met in the Grand Slam final.
It's definitely very special. I said that also before the finals. If I were to win against Rafa, it'd be super special and very sweet, because I haven't beaten him in a Grand Slam final for a long, long time now.
Nadal has won the Australian Open once. Federer has won it 4 times. The countdown to the Super Bowl well underway, with fans of the Atlanta Falcons setting off their team in style with massive crowds in a sea of red. The team making their way to Houston to play against the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 51. The New England Patriots will be heading to Houston on Monday morning, inviting fans to a special send-off rally that will include a performance by the New England Patriots cheerleaders. And we are just over an hour away now from the Pro Bowl, a star-studded skills showdown at Orlando's Camping World Stadium. The game giving the best in football a chance to show off their skills in front of the sold-out stadium. The game will air on ESPN at 8 o'clock. More to come here on ABC 7. Stay with us.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC 7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at mysuncoast.com/dining.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
ABC 7 News at 7, weeknights.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help.
And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Tonight's Screen Actors Guild Awards could give us a hint at who will take home an Oscar this year. ABC's Chris Connolly runs down the list of top contenders.
Brie Larson.
For last year's Screen Actors Guild Award winner, Brie Larson, getting acknowledged by her peers was the fulfillment of a lifelong dream.
20 years of watching the SAG Awards.
Rolling out the red carpet for Sunday night, the 23rd edition of the actors-only Kudo cast that boasts a strong track record as an Oscar predictor.
It's going to be a very interesting year here at the Screen Actors Guild Awards.
I have 4 of them.
Viola Davis will be looking to take the 5th, nominated for her supporting role in Fences.
Thank you.
2016 winner Alicia Vikander sure knew how to party.
I'm gonna sit on a plane and get really drunk by myself and ask everyone in the cabin to dance with me.
With no Isabelle Huppert in Best Female Actor.
It's very, very exciting.
And La La Land not in Best Motion Picture Cast. Those categories look wide open, giving hope to Manchester by the Sea, and omitted by Oscar Amy Adams from Arrival.
How is it more complicated? So it's a real nice mix of people, and you really do feel that all of Hollywood has turned out to honor its most famous members.
Welcome to Diverse TV.
Chris Connolly, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The 23rd Annual Screen Actors Guild Awards will be simulcast live on TNT and TBS tonight, beginning at 8 p.m. And who says Twitter wars can't be adorable? Zoos across the country joining in on a little friendly competition of adorable animals. It started when the Smithsonian's National Zoo tweeted a picture of a gray seal pup, and after that, it was game on. The Virginia Aquarium, Zoo Atlanta, the Bronx Zoo, and others joining in, and the results are pure adorableness.
That's too
look at that
fun.
face.
I like those kind of wars. Those are the best kind. Who's cuter? That's
You can get used to that.
Oh, wow. Isn't that great? Oh, that is just great. That's so fun. Well, our weather is going to get better and better. It's going to be clear and crisp and lovely over the next couple of days. You can see that. Our temperatures are still below normal, even all the way through Wednesday. 72 is our normal high, so we're a far cry tomorrow.
All right, thank you so much. We'll see you back here at 11. Have a good evening, everyone.
I am a veteran. My victory was finding the strength to be a champion.
My victory is having a job I can be proud of.
At DAV, we help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
My victory was finishing my education.
My victory was getting help to put our lives back together.
DAV provides veterans with a lifetime of support.
My victory is being there for my family.
Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.